But now we're talking about friends with benefits. And I told you guys, think hard about it. If you have any comments, please drop us a line on our Facebook page, Today's Woman on TV3, to help me debate this subject. I'm sure they're going to inform me. I mean, it's such a very gray area for me. Friends with benefits is beyond my understanding. But I have Ernest Kwesi Enin to my left, who is a music producer and an artiste manager as well. And then I have with me Reverend Roger Parkins, who is the manager of Golden Treasures International School, Tema Community 1.
Yes.
And is also a pastor at the Faith Pentecostal Church in Tema as well, I presume.
Yes, in Tema.
You're both welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, my dear.
Okay. Friends with benefits. I'm going to have to ask the Rev first. What is the meaning of friends with benefits?
I think that before we get there, let's understand what friendship is all about.
Okay.
There's a desire, a need in a man, a human being, to relate. That is where it begins. But the character of the person informs how far the person can go. And to have a friend or friendship simply means that you have somebody you understand, know, with whom you have mutual affection for, and you understand the person. That is how far you can go. But the character within determines whether the issue of benefit
comes in. And the character within whom?
Whoever.
The two?
Whoever.
Okay.
If it's between two men, two ladies, or with the opposite sex, the character within will determine whether it's going as far as benefiting from, what I gain from the relationship. That is why I'm coming in. But I think that ideally we just, as human beings, we meet at different points. Restaurant, church, an activity somewhere. You meet and you appreciate somebody's whatever, and then
you take it from there.
It begins. Then when you understand and want to go further, you pick it up. Then the character within will determine
whether. So do you think it's a character flaw for people who are looking for friends with benefits?
I think it's a character.
Why would it be a character flaw?
We pick up, our character is as a result of the attitude, the things that we pick up. Then we pick up certain characters. For example, if I've tried relationships and I'm not benefiting, for ladies, and I've made it in life, and I need somebody, what else do I want? I don't need a man for anything, for money, for anything. I just need somebody who sexually excites me. So
that's why you're going to go for that.
Yes, so I'm ready to pay. Give it to me. If it's a man and he feels like, look, I have everything, I don't need any wahala in the house, whatever, just come and sexually be my partner. Let's go out. That is it.
So would you determine a man's relationship, I'll ask Kwesi this, a man's relationship with, say, a prostitute as being a high-class prostitute? Because with high-class prostitutes, they can be at your beck and call, or so to speak. Would you describe that as a relationship that is friends with benefits? They say FWB, not friends with benefits.
It's not a relationship. It's called satisfaction. You know, it's more or less like you are in your home, and once in a while you feel like, today I don't want to cook. I want to go to Osu and get myself some fried rice. You might have a bag of rice in your house, actually, but then that particular day, your appetite for restaurant food is huge, such that you can't do anything, and then you might want to. All the people that you see them chasing these prostitutes in the night and all these things, most of them are very much married. Most of them are corporate directors and what have you. But sometimes they want to enjoy some different skills.
The variety.
They want to have some variety.
Don't they say variety is the spice of life?
Yes.
Don't we take it a little bit too far?
But not at the expense of your life in that way. Not at the expense of your life. That and it's becoming a common phenomenon. It's a common trend now. People want to experiment with deadly issues now. Because, like as you are saying, and I was telling you before the show, I have two friends, guys, who have signed a contract with two ladies in Tema. They are married, but they've signed a contract with two women.
Your friends are married?
Yeah, they are married.
Wow.
But the woman is rich. The ladies are rich. They have money, they have everything, and they are looking, like Reverend said, they want sexual, benefactors. So they've signed a contract. They say, okay, we'll get you a car, we'll get you a house, we'll provide your needs. But then the condition is that anytime I need you, you have to be available.
Wow.
I am seeing it. Not this one is not like I read it in a book. It's life. This is a condition. Anytime I need you, you must be available. 2, you don't. Anytime I see you dating another woman, this contract
is abrogated.
It's abrogated
immediately.
This is a woman
with
signing
all the benefits.
with all the benefits. This is a woman, and at that moment, the house she's rented for you will go. The car, everything will go. You will lose everything.
So how do you explain this to your wife? Because you are married, and you come home with all these extra trimmings. I mean, I thought that there had to be transparency in marriage. And the women at home questioning where these things are coming from.
You see, the 21st lifestyle we are leading now has really brought a lot of very indefinite things in our social life. The 21st century kind of lifestyle we are leading, the kind of things that are going on in secrets in night movement or night times.
Is it only night?
Are not are little of what is being discussed during daytimes. Because a lot of real issues are going on down there. And the advent of a man and wiring, women seeking for husbands, has really brought a different definition about
dimension.
Yes, the whole definition about this we call relationship. Because trust me, there are women in our town now who now, as I'm talking to you, have also got fed up with different heartbreaks. This guy comes, go, this guy comes, go. So they have also made their mind of payback time. If you're a guy, I pick you, it is bring money, let me handle the thing. I'll rub you down to all your boxer short is even gone. You understand the scenario? And then we have guys too who are saying, Jack, man, this lady robbed me off on this one. Me too, I'm going for payback time. So we have 2 communities of people that have come together, and we are crashing ourselves in the boat.
This is amazing.
And so the aspect of love is very much missing. But virtually now, the word love in its definition is no more. It doesn't exist. If you take, if you take 200 women, only 20 of them are in real love.
I'd like to believe that I'm still one of those. I'm an old-fashioned romantic. I'm very old school when it comes to relationships and things like that. Now, what I wanted to ask you, from your point of view, yours is the spiritual point of view or the religious point of view. What are you doing? Because he made a very valid point. All of this is because of the lack of love that exists between people. And also, with the 21st century, people are getting very crazy and doing all kinds of things. How are you trying to do something about that in your own way, from a spiritual angle?
From the church angle? I'm sure what we do on the pulpit, what we try to portray on the pulpit, is going a long way. But you can't enforce what people are not willing to accept.
Wow. Then you're actually fighting a losing battle, as they say.
Yes and no. Yes and yes, because they will have to open up. No, because it takes the influence of God to help people open up to receive the word. So if they don't receive the word, you can't do anything about it.
But the funny thing about it is, when I was growing up...
I'm not cutting.
Yes.
This statement that Reverend just made, and I'm coming to because of the religious part that you said. You see, we have pastors now who are even connecting. They have rich girls in their church who have the money, but they are not married. And they give them the promise that, look, come to my church, I'll connect. And you have pastors who pick telephones and call the young man and said, there is this lady in my church here. She's rich here and there, I want to be biadada, with the...
Just looking for marriage.
Exactly. And it's been happening. Even at the religious
every human
level.
institution, you have ups and downs. You have those who are really committed and those who are not. And it happens. The fact that somebody has a title pastor
does not mean that he's human.
That is the thing. Let the fruit speak, and then you know if the person is really committed.
Human.
And I agree with what he's saying. Just like you have somebody in Ghana who is married, committed to the wife, and then because of challenges, he or she wants to travel abroad. He gave an example before we started. He gets there, and because of where he ought to stay, he needs somebody
to be able to do that, the benefit.
So they start like, oh, let's just agree on paper, we deal with this, I'll pay you this. But as they get familiar, they break the bounds, and then what
can we say is really the core? What is at the core? What is the problem?
The problem is that social life issues have toppled up issues of relationship and intimate matters. Did you understand what I said?
Materialism. Is that what you're talking
materialism,
about? That's all.
Or what we call social life. Have toppled up issues of intimate matters. It's such that people now are ready to trade with love, with anything, if only they will get social things happening to them.
The standing in life.
The standing. I tell you, today, pastors travel, they go to conferences in Amsterdam, and they have, I have a lot of 27% of women whose husbands have traveled outside the country to seek for greener pastures. Those women should better go and look for different husbands and marry them, because those men are not coming. They are fully engaged. They are fully married.
They've gone away. But you see, the thing, what I would say, I find a bit, it's a bit of a concern for me, is that I grew up in an era where children didn't, we have become a more religious society. But it looks like, as they say, we're getting more religious, the devil is also running faster. Because I don't know why the moral fiber of society is just totally eroded.
You made a statement when you started. He made a statement. He said, a lot of ladies, and then you said, look, you are from the old school. Mm-hmm. What do you mean by that?
I was brought up the way I was brought up. I'm a bit of a dreamer, maybe, because it doesn't exist anymore.
That is a word. And you see, the way you are brought up, that makes a difference. If you come from a home, not a house, and you get to the right spiritual environment, you will not go that way. The temptation is there. It's open. You anywhere you get to. He said something earlier. You get to a restaurant, somebody comes to serve you the way he serves. You've got your bag of rice, whatever, in a house, but the environment creates something else. But when you get there and you are trained, you are well brought up, and you get to that environment, you know your limits. You enjoy the meal, appreciate it, pay for it, and move out.
So we need to actually concentrate a lot more at home, make our houses homes for our children.
Where mothers
we need to inculcate home. Yes.
Fathers really stay at home and nurture their children.
Reverend, I'm
not paying fees.
I'm not cutting Reverend.
But you see, they're paying fees.
My
I'm sure. Yes. Go on.
My dear, where is the home? Ask me the question, Reverend. Where is the home?
Home is where the heart is.
The home is no more there, because the father works at Barclays Bank. He closes around 9 o'clock because from 8 o'clock he has to balance the account before going home.
So why is the father closing at 8 or 9 o'clock?
I'm coming. Mother is working. Mother is working at maybe Makwala. Closing around 7:30 o'clock, and then you'll be in traffic and get home around 8 p.m. The children closes from school at 3 o'clock. So between 3 to 9 o'clock before they see their parents. Between this time, they have access to watch anything on TV.
Nigeria movies.
They have access to do anything. They have access to go and visit any of their friends and come home at their right time. Because if I know my mother will come home at 9, by 8:45 I'm there. So before mother comes, I'm even lying on a bed. I'm a good child, innocent. So the home that we are talking about, Reverend is saying, it doesn't exist any longer.
Oh, it does.
Because social issues have taken over the home.
But I think that you have to be dedicated, committed to home. I think that the responsibility, people are, and I don't want to judge anybody, but I think that it's how you feel about a thing. We need to go back to what it means to be a family.
That is very important. You know what? We are having challenges even in the school, all right, where we realize that with children, whatever influence they have in the house would come to impact on what you do.
Charity begins at home.
So what we do is that we create an environment in the school to bring parents together so that they can help us relate to their children. If we don't do this and you just pay fees, buy food, you are missing it.
But you see, the thing is that I know lots of people just go and pay fees. They think, oh, my child has to be educated. They don't follow it up. all they're doing is at the end of the month signing a check. And that's why they've got to be working till 9 p.m. to ensure that they can pay the expensive school fees. I mean, Kwesi, in a way, you're saying the same thing.
I'm not saying the same thing, my dear. As I'm talking to you now, there's a case at East Legon. The man and the husband, they don't have the time to be home. So they've employed a maid servant to take care of the house. The maid servant, as I'm talking to you now, this week, is pregnant with the man's first son.
Oh, we're riding Yakufo.
So what are they doing? Indirectly, they've gotten a wife for their son. And this is what we are talking about.
Well, I've just spoken to a young lady about sexual abuse, so that's a different topic altogether. But we need to see what people think about friends with benefits. So the cameras went to town. Let's see what other people had to say.
Sitting at home, I do nothing all day but think about you and hope that you're okay.
Generally, I don't think it's good. Friends with benefits religiously isn't good because you could do certain things that are not right.
Friends with benefits has to do with the individuals. It creates problems because most of them get attached to each other and they can't let go. I have a friend who's been involved in that, and normally it doesn't come with love. It just comes with just some attachment, and it creates a lot of problems moving on, because if they move on and they probably be in a serious relationship, they still end up going to whoever they are having that friends with benefits with to still sleep with them. So in general, I think friends with benefits is not a good thing.
The meaning, I actually had to look up the definition of friends with benefits online, and it says two friends have a sexual relationship without being emotionally involved. So I mean, two friends who, so it's consenting adults.
Yeah.
You decide that this is what you want to do.
Good.
No, and it's amazing on the internet. It tells you the do's and don'ts. It gives you rules, how to get started. So I mean, what world we live in now? So if I want to, I'm thinking, oh, I've had enough. I just broke up with I don't want to sort of engage in any emotional affairs. Too heavy for me. I just know how to go. I said, okay, this is it. But I guess what you were talking about, the contract, this is verbal. You sort of say to yourself, okay, this is a ground rules. You have to set the ground rules, as they call them, rules of engagement, before you even get started. It goes to the extent and tells you that you mustn't carry on this affair for more than 3 months, because then you get emotionally involved, you start getting jealous, and then it doesn't work, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's a whole thing.
3 months.
My dear, that 3 months you are saying,
it's a whole thing.
this time people do it for more than 5 years. I have a friend, Kojo Dazi. A woman sent on Facebook. I was just sitting with him like this. The woman sent a message. Papa, I want to be in an open relationship with you. But I didn't even know the word open. So I said, Kojo, but what is this open relationship? How can a woman tell you that I want to be in an open relationship with you? He said, that means I can have my girlfriend. She can also have her boyfriend. But then we are dating. Comfortably. And in fact, it's more comfortable to people than even even marriage, because people can even do that to the extent that people can still get married and they will still be doing with mutual benefits.
You know, the one that I don't understand is when you're married and you're doing this for mutual, there must be something you're deriving from a relationship.
No, I think that we are deceiving ourselves when we talk about this has to do, you take away the emotions. How do you have sex with somebody and your emotions are out?
That's why it's called FWB, friends with benefits.
No, I want to understand. Are they superhuman beings?
I think you are probably just as old school as I am in that regard.
No, you see, because what I see is this. Sex with somebody and you're emotionally out. You try the first time, the second time.
That's why there's a time limit.
Emotions.
Time limit, 3 months.
But Papa, I'm not cutting you. But there could be a time in your life where you want to go and take this vocation. Your parents will say, no, do this one. And you might want to follow the advice and do it. Like, for example, you want to be a reverend minister. And then your parents want you to be a doctor. They will be giving you pressure. And you say, okay, well, I will go and do the reverend minister. you are a reverend minister or you are a doctor, but then the emotion, your heart is not with the profession that you are doing. It's happened to a lot of nurses.
I appreciate that, but see, when you come to sex, what goes through the body when you are having sex? It's an emotion.
Have you heard of the word fun?
You can't separate. You can't.
You are incorrigible.
You see, you can't separate. This is why we are struggling. And you know, one thing I can appreciate is this. Look, if you get involved sexually with somebody for some time,
It's a contract.
It's a
But
contract.
there are some people who can do with it, I believe. Do you think that prostitutes have emotion in the work they do?
They do.
They do.
Oh, then they must be punishing themselves
Look,
every single
I counsel
time.
a pimp, okay? I counsel a pimp, and he had this girlfriend, and he knew what
She did.
what the lady was doing, and he encouraged and selected who the lady should go out with. But if he was ready for the lady and the lady went out with somebody he had recommended, they always had crashes. And I was like, why do you pretend to agree with this?
But they do. I live with my brother in Amsterdam, Hamburg. There was a woman down there. I were on top of the building, and so every evening 8 o'clock, this woman would dress nicely, and then the husband would go and drive, and then they'll go out. So I asked my brother, I said, what is happening with this woman? Every night they'll go out 8 o'clock. So because they'll pass her. The woman is a prostitute, and the husband is a driver.
Pimp.
So a man driving his own wife to a prostitute joint, and then when the wife closes, they will return back home and then continue the marriage.
Such a man.
So
is
how
not
would you call
committed.
this one too?
He's not committed.
You can't
He's
call
using
this
the woman.
That is the thing.
He's using the woman.
That's the thing.
But
So
anyway.
there's no benefit. And
You know-
I can assure you, anyone you open up to with that contract, if you brought in the contract and you open up, the person comes with something else that you didn't bargain for.
If in our era we are not seeing it happen, we have to really go back to the drawing board and see what we can do differently to ensure that. Because if now people are having friends with benefits at this age, what happens in another 10, 15 years?
Well, I will say that to this one. You see, when we are able to establish a point, like in the olden days, when we're able to come to a point where we focus much on the love of God, the love for humanity, than pleasures of this world, what we call social lifestyles. To live in big house, to drive big cars, you see your friend driving this one, and then you also push to do beyond
At the expense of everything
At the expense
else.
of everything. When we begin to have this kind of mind, retrospective, then things will begin to change. Because you see, if not, it will be very difficult to begin shaping the thing when it is at its rot level.
Which it is already at the moment.
Exactly. And
It's getting there.
exactly, and that is the most critical point of view. When we begin to have the love of God, when you have a fear for humanity, when you yourself you fear your own self, that this thing, I would never do it. Everybody is doing it, but me, my body, is so
But it's not
precious
even
to
so much of a fear of humanity as a fear of God, because I'm sure it says in the
That's it.
Bible, it says the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom.
Yes.
And
And
when
that
you
is what
seek
we.
and know Him
Yes.
and understand who He is, it makes a difference.
Well, I think we become more of a fearless society now.
That is it.
That's what it is. You know, the
and it's unfortunate that we as pastors cannot even be the leaders to bring this out.
But you will. I think that if you are committed to doing it, one
But I think I'll
person-
encourage everyone, if you know who God is, understand who He is, and that environment that can help you know this, if you can, we can help to shape the society.
Well, we all have to do it one person at a time in a little way.
And I'm happy Reverend is here, you know. Papa, I want ministers and men of God to conscientize their preaching and their sermons on people seeking the kingdom of God than the material point. Because
That is welcome.
That is,
and I
because
also
you go
preach
to any
something
church,
to you.
you go to any church,
I'll connect something
and
to you.
you get your visa, you get your money,
Appreciate it.
and all these things are becoming.
I
too
also
much
connect
of a-
something to you. I'll encourage producers to let Christian musicians stay in the church. Don't turn them out.
Thank you. I'll do it. You're on my case now.
I pray that, and this is what we are having. Most of the top musicians started from the body of Christ. Producers pick them up And that is it.
It's the
And they
love
are
for
shaping.
material things.
That is the point.
But anyway,
So together, I think we can do a good job.
I think we can do a good job. You're on my case. I also be on your case.
Both Tracy and Roger, it's been a real pleasure having you here. But before you go, there's one, I mean, we had quite a few comments on Facebook. There's one I want to read. It's from Kweku Dua Prempe. He says, friendship is an essential element in our lives. We need friends in each way of our endeavors. But it is quite funny that some people write some clauses in their friendship. I believe that from the onset, one should spell out what he or she really needs. Another friend with benefits. But then I want to leave a quote for you that says, friends with benefits. Good enough to hang with, good enough to laugh, to lay with actually, but never good enough to be with.